The man in the gray hoodie stood up 5 blocks after the last stop, and everything on the number 7 bus changed.
Nobody move. This bus goes where I say now.
32 people froze. Phones clattered. A woman at the back started praying, but the driver, a woman most of them had never looked at twice, didn't even tense up. Her hands stayed exactly where they'd been. Fingers relaxed around the curve of the wheel.
I said move. Take this thing to the interstate, or I swear I'll—
I can't do that, son. The police are already on their way.
What? You didn't call anybody. I was watching you.
She hadn't called. She had pressed a single hidden button under the dash the moment his hood went up. A duress alarm that the whole bus thought was dead plastic. And in the rear view, her eyes held something that didn't belong on a bus driver's face. Old, cold, professional stillness. The hijacker's grip on the gun tightened, knuckles white, because he'd expected screaming and got stone.
I said drive. You think I am playing? You'll do what I say, or—
Or what, son? You'll shoot a bus full of strangers over something that can still be talked out.
You don't know what I've got to lose. Just get this bus moving.
Fair enough. But if I crash because I am nervous with that thing at my head, we both lose. You want to tell me what this is really about?
2 rows back, a young commuter named Marcus pulled out his earbuds and stared, because nobody talked to a gunman like that.
Dude, she's going to get us killed. What is she doing?
Shut up, Marcus. Look at her hands. She's been here before.
I got fired today. My ex took my kid and moved states. I just need to get to Vermont before she files the papers. You wouldn't get that.
You might be surprised what I understand, son. 20 years back, I lost someone I loved, and I sat in rooms with men who thought they had no door left.
Don't spin that at me. You drive a bus. You don't know the first thing about what I am carrying.
But something in her tone had drilled a tiny hole in his panic. His gun arm sagged half an inch, and the tremor in his fingers faltered.
She's got him talking. Everybody just stay back. Don't give him a reason to.
Why is everybody talking? I didn't ask for a committee. Stop telling people what to do.
The gun swung away from the driver for 1 second, and a man in the 3rd row took that second to lunge from his seat, jacket flapping.
Don't.
The hijacker sidestepped, and the passenger crashed into an armrest, the muzzle sweeping across 32 faces, a collective gasp rising like steam. As the chaos settled, Janet caught the badge swinging from the hijacker's belt, Ray Keller, and held the name like a tool.
Ray, what's your boy's name? You said you were trying to get to him. What does he call you?
His name is Ben. He calls me Daddy. 4 years old, and he still thinks I can fix anything.
The name Benjamin landed in the aisle like a stone dropped into still water, ripples of something human touching every passenger who heard it. Then a siren cried out, distant but unmistakable, and Ray's head snapped toward the windshield like a hound catching scent.
You said you didn't call. That's them. Start this bus, or I swear to God, I'll shoot through this glass.
I didn't call, Ray. But a bus this big doesn't vanish. We need to figure out what you want before they surround us.
Outside the bus, the street was frozen. She had pulled over while he screamed at the passengers, killed the engine so quietly, no one noticed.
Wait, when did she stop? We're not even moving. She shut it down while he was pacing.
I've never seen a driver do that. Not a normal driver.
Start the engine. You are not in charge here. I am. I need to get out of this city.
If I start it now, officers will box us in within 2 blocks. Then you won't see Benjamin ever again. You want that, Ray?
Then what? You tell me. Because every plan I had is garbage now.
We make a new one. But first, I need to know you can stay calm when things get loud. Can you do that, Ray?
Before he could answer, a woman 3 rows back began gasping. Short, sharp breaths. Elena couldn't breathe.
She needs her inhaler. Her bag's under the seat. Someone grab it.
Nobody moves! I didn't say anyone could start shuffling around.
Janet kept her voice low, eyes on the mirror, and directed the passenger nearest the bag with a single nod.
Ray, I am going to count to 3. In that time, that woman gets her medicine, or her death is on your hands. 1.
Stop counting. Fine. But only one person. Slow.
Through the windshield. The first patrol unit pulled alongside, an officer's bullhorn crackling. Driver, maintain your position. Instead of starting the engine, she cut the lights, plunging the bus into dim stillness, giving Ray nothing to aim at but shadow.
What did you do? I can't see anything. Turn the lights back on.
The lights were making us a target. Now, the police can't see you, and you can't see them. That's safer for everyone.
Outside, the bullhorn barked again. Shut off your engine. Keep your hands visible. But the engine was already silent.
They're going to storm the bus. I need to see. I can't do this in the dark.
Then you put the gun down, Ray. Right now you choose. Either you trust me, or you fight the police alone, which has a chance.
Behind Ray, Elena pressed the inhaler to her lips, the soft hiss the only sound besides pounding hearts.
This is insane. She's actually negotiating with him. Who is she?
I don't know, but I am glad she's that one.
I can't put it down. They'll rush me. You said they'd box us in.
Not if you do exactly as I say. We'll trade the weapon for a phone call to your son's mother. You get to talk to Benjamin. Prove you are still his father.
A phone call. You do that? And let me talk to him without the cops listening?
I'll use the dispatcher line here. It records, but you'll hear his voice, and Chloe will know you are alive.
Ray's jaw clenched. He was weighing the chance of seeing his son against the certainty of a cell. Then the megaphone cut through. Release the passengers now, and exit with hands up.
They're safe in here. We're talking. Give us 5 minutes.
Stop talking to them. You are supposed to be helping me.
Behind him, a woman's shaky voice whispered, "She's going to blow it." Marcus put a finger to his lips.
Ray, look at me. Benjamin deserves a father who comes home, not one they carry out. Give me the gun, now.
He extended the gun toward her, grip loose. Then the radio under the dash squawked. Unit 7, report status.
You have a radio? They're tricking me. Nobody gets out.
It's a transit radio, Ray. It's always on. I am not tricking you. I am the one keeping them from breaking down that door.
Then tell them to back off. Tell them I'll shoot if they come closer.
We cannot wait, driver. The bullhorn boomed. Exterior team is moving to the rear door in 30 seconds.
Ray, that door opens and they will fire. Benjamin needs you to put that down on the floor, not in their aim.
Just do it, man. They're gonna crash in here.
Shut up. Everyone shut up. This is your fault. She told me you'd be quiet.
Janet's hand moved to a switch on the control panel, killing the external speaker that broadcast to the street.
Now nobody outside can hear us. It's you, me, and a bus full of people who want to go home. Put it down, Ray. Last chance.
I can't. I don't want to die in here, but I can't go to prison either.
Then the rear door handle rattled, a heavy metallic clunk as the latch disengaged from outside. The rear door split open 6 inches, a beam of white light cutting across the aisle like a blade.
Get back. I said nobody moves. I'll kill someone.
Hold your fire. He's scared, and his kid is waiting. We're still talking.
The lead officer at the door froze, one hand planted on the frame, looking past the gun to the driver's face. A voice from outside warned, "You've got 10 seconds. Then we come in."
I'll do it. I swear I'll do it if they don't back off.
Ray, aim at me. Not them. If Benjamin's in your head, point that gun at the floor. Right now.
His hand trembled. The muzzle dragged downward until it pointed at the rubber mat. The weapon was still in his hand, but the threat had shifted.
Give me 1 minute. No one else gets hurt. I'll walk him out myself.
From the doorway, a long pause. Then a gruff command. 1 minute. Then we breach. The door held at 6 inches. In the aisle, the countdown pressed against every eardrum. 50 seconds now.
Ray, you've done the hard part. The gun is down. Now, I need you to let go of it completely.
They'll shoot me if I let go. You don't know what it's like. Everyone thinks you are nothing.
I am nobody too. Worked 2 jobs for nothing. But my kid still needs me. Come on.
Marcus, stay quiet. He needs to hear my voice, not yours.
The radio under the dash crackled again. A dispatcher's voice. Unit 7. Police request status. 45 seconds. Janet clicked it off. Then another sound cut through. A muffled ringtone from Ray's pocket. His ex-wife's name flashed on the screen. Chloe.
It's her. She's calling. Why now? She never calls.
Answer it. Ray, say goodbye to your son. This might be your only chance before the door opens.
Ray fumbled the phone to his ear, his other hand still wrapped around the pistol grip as the timer in the doorway dropped below 30 seconds.
Chloe, I can't talk long. Just put Ben on. Please. I need to hear him.
Through the tinny speaker, a small voice called out, "Daddy?" And Ray's whole body shook.
Ray, you hear him? That's why we're still here. That's why you are going to put that gun down.
The officer at the door chewed his lip. 20 seconds now. He raised one finger, a signal to his team.
Ray, I need you to know who you are dealing with. Before I drove this route, I spent 20 years as a hostage negotiator.
You are lying. You are just a bus driver trying to trick me.
I've talked down armed men in burning buildings, talked teenagers out of stepping off bridges. You are not the worst I've faced.
That's why she's been so calm. She's not just a driver. She's some kind of pro.
Then, what do I do? I can't just walk out there.
You hand me that weapon. You and I walk out the front, together, before that door opens. 10 seconds, Ray. Choose.
Ben, Daddy loves you. You be good, okay? I have to go now.
The line clicked dead. Ray stared at the screen, then shoved the phone into his pocket and held the gun out to Janet, grip first. She took it without ceremony, ejected the magazine, and set both on the driver's seat. Good choice, Ray.
Everyone, stay seated. I am walking him out. Don't move until the police clear the bus.
She pulled the front door lever and stepped down, Ray's sleeve clutched in her free hand, her other hand high and empty. Outside, spotlights snapped onto them. On the ground, a dozen voices roared. Rifles clicked.
Hold your fire. I am the driver, Janet Dwyer. He's unarmed and surrendering. I have the weapon.
He's got something in his hand. An officer shouted, gun tracking Ray.
It's a phone. His son just said goodbye. Lower your weapons. I know the protocol.
A tense stare down as she shielded Ray with her own body, the lead officer's finger resting on the trigger.
Transit Authority Code 72422. I am a retired crisis negotiator. Stand down and follow my lead.
The lead officer's finger uncurled from the trigger. He knew that code. It was from the Joint Task Force training, the same man who'd saved his own unit a decade ago. Hold your fire. Let her work, he bellowed, and the raised rifles dipped in unison.
Ray, knees, hands behind your head. You are going to be okay.
Officers moved in with trained precision, cuffing Ray without force as Janet kept her hand on his shoulder. Inside the bus, 32 faces pressed against the glass. They hadn't known her name this morning. Now they would never forget it.
She made them stand down. Who does that?
Someone who's seen worse than this. And she was here the whole time.
Janet stood in the headlights, the empty gun still cradled in her palm as Ray was walked to a squad car. And in that moment, the quiet driver nobody looked at twice had rewritten the entire night. The police inspector touched his cap. Ma'am, that was textbook. What unit were you with?
14 years of silence. One night, and they'll drag it all up.
Janet, Transit Authority needs a full report. But first, we need you at the depot. The media's already requesting you by name.
Miss Dwyer? We didn't even know your name, thank you. Seriously.
Just doing my job. Go home to your families.
Behind them, a news crew was already setting up a live camera, the reporter rehearsing the question. Who is the hero driver?
I could walk. Tell them no comment. Go back to the quiet. Or I could make this count.
A camera light snapped on. Driver, were you really a trained negotiator? The reporter called.
I was. 20 years. I took this driving job to decompress. But tonight, it mattered. And I think I am ready to teach again.
The quiet driver had just traded her silence for a room full of new trainees and a choice that would echo through the entire transit system.
Janet HQ wants you to lead the new emergency response program. It's a full-time training position. The offer's on the table, but there's a condition. The board wants you to sign a standard media agreement. No interviews about your past without prior approval.
You are asking me to train people in crisis response while hiding the very experience that qualifies me.
Policy. They fear legal exposure if something goes wrong. I don't like it, but it's the only way they'll greenlight the program.
14 years ago, I walked away from a department that asked me to stay quiet about mistakes. I won't do it again. I'll train them, but only if I can tell them the truth. Every driver needs to know that the quiet ones might have a story.
That'll mean a fight with legal. Could delay everything. Are you sure?
She reached into her pocket and set her old negotiator badge on the desk, worn, gold catching the light.
I've hidden long enough. Let them see it. If the program dies, it dies on their conscience, not mine.
Supervisor Chen picked up the badge, stared at it, and slowly slid the media agreement into the shredder.
I'll take this to the board, but Janet, you have to give them something they can't ignore. Prove this program works.
Then, I'll start the training now. No delays. If they see it in action, they can't argue with results.
2 days later, in a sterile depot conference room, 16 new drivers sat in rows, still whispering about the hijacking that had gripped the city.
My name is Janet Dwyer. For 14 years, I drove a bus, and before that, I talked armed men into handcuffs. That experience is what I am going to share.
A young driver in the front row raised his hand. So you are the one who talked down that gunman. How do we learn that in a week?
You don't. But you learn how your vehicle can protect you, how to read a threat, how to press this.
She projected a still from the bus camera, her own hand hovering over the duress button, seconds before the police arrived.
This button saved 32 lives. It's on every bus you'll drive. Know it so well you can find it in the dark.
In the back row, a driver who'd been staring at his phone set it down, his eyes now fixed on the board. For the first time in 14 years, Janet Dwyer was teaching again, and the transit board was watching every second through a live feed. As the session ended, Supervisor Chen stepped into the doorway, tablet in hand, face grim.
Janet, the board watched. They're mostly impressed, but they require a condition. You can't reference your past. Liability.
They want me to hide the experience that saved that bus.
I am sorry. They fear a lawsuit if someone copies your methods and fails. Clean curriculum only.
Janet glanced at the trainees who had stopped gathering their things, listening silently.
I won't teach them a lie. If I can't talk about that night, I can't prepare them.
The room was still. Then, one by one, the trainees nodded. They knew what training they wanted.
Then tell the board they have 2 days. If they refuse, I walk. And the whole city will hear why.
Chen nodded and tapped out a message. The driver who saved 32 lives would rather leave than train without the truth. Janet turned to the whiteboard, her badge catching light, and slashed a line across the curriculum. Truth or nothing. After 2 days of anxious silence, Supervisor Chen finally walked into the training room, holding a printed email.
They approved it, Janet. No restrictions. The board saw the public outcry. You are free to teach your own experience.
Good. Then, let's give these drivers something real, not a liability-dodging manual.
She restarted the class with the unfiltered story. The duress button she'd pressed before he even spoke, the phone call with Benjamin, the 7 minutes that rewrote the fate of 32 people. The 16 trainees didn't move, not a single phone came out.
You are probably wondering how I didn't freeze. How I stayed that calm, because I'd walked into worse 100 times before. I wasn't a driver in that moment. I was who I used to be, and that's who you'll learn to become.
That night, a news segment aired clips of her teaching. Marcus and Elena watched it from their living rooms, stunned.
That's her. The driver we walked past every day. She was a pro the whole time.
Within a week, Janet Dwyer was the face of transit safety. The morning she returned to her route, the passengers didn't look down. They looked up, and they finally said her name. On that first morning back, a young woman pressed a folded note into Janet's hand. "You saved my grandmother." The bus was quieter, but heavier with something new. At every stop, commuters who had once buried their faces in phones now lifted their chins, met her eyes, and said her name.
It's good to be back, but I won't be driving forever. Training starts again next week.
A month later, Supervisor Chen presented Janet with a commendation. The new crisis response program had already trained 60 drivers. 5 of those drivers had already used the duress button in real incidents, and not a single one had been hurt. A letter arrived from the state prison. Ray Keller, in a careful hand. "Mrs. Dwyer, I am getting counseling. Benjamin talks to me every week. Thank you for letting me hear his voice."
That boy's voice was the only real weapon he had left.
She kept the letter in the bus's logbook beside her negotiator badge as a reminder that a calm move could split a life open toward light. By the end of the year, the Transit Authority made the program mandatory for all new hires. The quiet driver was now impossible to ignore.
You don't need to be a hero. Just be the one who stays steady when the world tilts.
6 months later, a grainy bus camera video made the evening news. A driver from Janet's program calmly disarmed a knife-wielding man with words alone. The reporter noted it was the 11th crisis ended without injury under the new mandatory response program. Every statistic had Janet's name behind it.
That driver saved 2 lives today. He told me my voice was in his head. That's all I ever wanted, not fame, just echoes.
She still kept her old negotiator badge in the bus logbook, now joined by a news clipping of Ray Keller's sentencing, suspended after testimony about her intervention.
He gets to hear Benjamin's voice every week now. Maybe that's the real win.
The Transit Authority published the program's results. A 70% drop in critical incidents across all routes. The board that once tried to silence her now called her a visionary. At the annual safety summit, Janet stood in front of 300 drivers and said the words she'd lived by for decades.
The quietest person in the room is usually the one who's seen it all. Train them, trust them. Don't wait until they need to save your life to learn their name.
The standing ovation lasted 90 seconds. In the back row, Marcus and Elena watched on a live stream, tears in their eyes. The driver they ignored for years had not only stopped a hijacking, she had rebuilt safety from the driver's seat up, one steady hand at a time. On the last morning she'd ever drive the 7 route, Janet Dwyer arrived at the depot before first light, the way she had for 14 years. But this time, she unlocked her driver's side cabinet and slipped her old negotiator badge onto the visor, not hidden anymore, but facing the passengers.
They won't forget this seat now. Neither will I.
The early commuters climbed aboard, and the first 3 said her name. One was Elena, holding her inhaler. Still here, she smiled.
Because of you, I can breathe without fear. On and off this bus.
Then, we're both lucky, Elena. Go on, find your seat.
As the bus pulled away, she caught her own reflection in the rear view. No longer the invisible driver, but the still hand behind the wheel. The city scrolled past, and the duress button glowed faintly under the dash, pressed purposefully, every morning, just to make sure it still worked. And on the wall of the training center, the first frame hung. A photo of Janet's steady hand on that button, captioned, "Stay calm, a quiet driver." A single calm move, and a whole transit system changed. All because no one looked at her twice, until they had to. The headlights caught the old depot sign one last time. in the quiet before the engine turned. She let the memory of every face she'd carried settle. She pressed the duress button, not out of need, but out of habit. A soft green light blinked back. Still working. The first passenger was a young woman who paused at the door, eyes on the badge clipped to the visor.
It's just a reminder. Front seat's open if you want to see it closer.
She slid into the front seat, kept reading the badge, and no one on the bus looked down at their phones the whole ride.
That's enough. One passenger who looks up, that's how it starts.
The bus rumbled past the spot where the hijacker had first stood. The street looked ordinary now, but her hands tightened once on the wheel. In the rear view, a shadow flickered, a trick of the morning light that almost looked like a hooded figure at the back. She blinked, and the shape was gone. Just the empty back row and the city rolling on. She breathed out, and the button under the dash glowed, a quiet promise to every future passenger. Stay calm. Someone's watching.